is go back to your tables and in the resonance column, put down yes that it's a resonance structure or no if it's not. Now again, for there to be resonance, you almost always have to have oxygen. So here in ammonia, NH3, okay, this is no, because they're all single bonds. There's not even a double bond in the molecule. Even if you have a double bond, SCN, oops, that should be a carbon in the middle, my fault, carbon, sulfur, okay. There's double bonds here, but there's not a single bond that it can flip back and forth to. So this is no. You have to have a substance where there's a single bond and a double bond between oxygens. And if that's the case, then it has resonance. Great example, this is chlorate. Chlorate, when you draw the Lewis structure, if it follows the octet rule, this is what it looks like. There's a +2 formal charge on the chlorine and -1s to all the single bonded oxygens, and that does add up to -1. Here, this structure would have 4 resonance forms because the double bond, instead of being off the top, could be the left, could be the bottom, could be the right. You'd have to draw this 4 times to properly show all the different possibilities. But again, there's a double bond to an oxygen and a single bond in the same molecule. This would be a resonance structure. And that's how we do resonance. Okay? All right, the final short lecture to wrap up this part of the unit in covalent bonding is something called resonance. Resonance is where one Lewis structure does not do the full molecule justice. One Lewis structure cannot show all the potential bonding arrangements that occurs. Now, resonance often is found when you have a chemical compound that contains oxygen bonded to a central atom in multiple types. So here, let's look at an example. One last sign off on this, the molecule ozone. This was on the national exam a couple years ago. Pause the lecture right now and see if you can draw the molecule ozone and its resonance forms. All right, to singly bond this, we have this 3 oxygens all with 6 electrons. We connect the dots to get the skeleton. Now, in order to get these on the outside have got 7 each and central atom has 8, we have to make sure the octet rule is fulfilled for oxygen. So one of these electrons moves in and this electron moves in. So we break up a lone pair. Okay, and now that creates a double bond there. Now if I recount, this guy has 8, the middle guy has 9, and the right side one has 7. I don't want a double bond to the other oxygen because then I would have 10 in the middle. So what ends up happening is the oxygen transfers one of its electrons over, and now everybody has 8. Okay? Because this middle oxygen gave up an electron, it will have a formal charge of +1, and you can go through the math to check it. And this guy gained 1, so it's -1. Again, the formal charge adds up to 0. You'll notice that the molecule ozone has no charge on it, so the formal charge should add up to 0, which they do. And it's a resonance structure because we have a double bond that can flip between the left and the right, and so we draw an arrow between them, and this is how we would show the resonance structures of ozones. And this was on the national exam a couple of years ago, and you can see now that double bond. So again, it's a double bond between the same elements and a single bond between the same elements where the double bond just flips its position, and that is resonance. Again, thanks for listening, and that wraps up covalent bonding concepts. Turn the page here. This is the nitrite. This is the nitrate ion, NO3 -1. There are 3 formal charges. There are 2 -1 charges on oxygens where there's a single bond to the nitrogen, and there's a +1 formal charge on the nitrogen on the central atom with a double bond to oxygen, which does not have a formal charge. The summation of the formal charges does add to -1, so this is a valid Lewis structure and the octet rule is fulfilled. However, this one Lewis structure does not fulfill or show all the possible bonding arrangements. Resonance occurs when there is a double bond and a single bond between the same elements in a molecule. So here, there's a double bond oxygen and there's a single bond oxygen. Why does the double bond have to be located to the top? It could be in the other positions as well. So on the national exam, if they say draw all forms of the molecule or all the Lewis structures possible, they're giving a hint and they're telling you that this is a resonance structure and you more than likely have to draw it more than once. So the double bond could have gone to the atom to the right, and everything else stays the same. The single bonds now are top and bottom. And lastly, the double bond could go to the bottom. Now, to draw the structure we draw a double-sided arrow between the molecules. And this is why we call this resonance. Resonance means to move back and forth. So that double bond is flipping from, the one to the right to the one to the bottom, coming back to the top, coming back to the top. It's going back and forth between all these three different resonance forms, and that double bond is moving. But the arrangement is still the same. We still have nitrogen, oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. We're not changing the bonding arrangement. We're just changing the difference between the single bonds and the double bonds. And this is what resonance is. Now, in real life, the bonds formed between the oxygens and the nitrogens, not one is really a single, or neither of them are doubles. Actually, these bonds end up being exactly the same. And we find out is, what we typically did when we were in college is drew a dashed line above this, meaning that the double bonds could be found in any of those locations, right? But if I were to examine the length of this bond, the length of this bond is somewhere in between a nitrogen-oxygen single bond and a nitrogen-oxygen double bond. It's somewhere, the length of all these bonds is somewhere in between that single and that double, because it's not really truly a single or a double bond. It's some variation in between there because that double bond exists in there for a certain period of time. So think of it as if a single bond was a length of 1 and a double bond was a length of 2, that this molecule might have a length of like 1.3 or something like that. Okay? That length of that bond is going to probably be longer than a double bond, but shorter than a single bond because of that resonating double bond. So the length tends to be somewhere in the middle, and the energy of that bond tends to be somewhere in the middle. Again, double bonds are shorter and stronger than single bonds. Okay, so this bond would be somewhere in the middle where it's a little bit longer, a little bit more energetic, and it meets somewhere in the middle because of the fact that double bond is going in all those different various locations. Okay, so that's resonance. So